Well, hey there. It's your old pal King Waspinator, and welcome back to Total Party Skills. Hit like and subscribe. Considering how exhausted I am at the D&D cycle here on YouTube, it's a shame that I'm only a casual Battletech fan. Because the times I do put out videos dealing with Battletech-related subjects, their numbers crush pretty much everything else I put out content-wise, but I don't feel generally I have a whole lot of value to add. Like I said, I'm just a casual fan. I haven't really played in forever, despite having a couple of the box sets, and it's been a long time since I've bothered reading any of the novels or any of that kind of stuff. That being said, I did do a video the other day commenting on the controversy surrounding Blake Fondue and his firing from Catalyst Game Labs, and it's a common theme amongst some of the comments I see that seem to be defending the decision to fire the guy, seem to kind of hinge around the idea that he's been up to antics and he's been stirring the shit, and it's just been a matter of time before Catalyst finally got tired of it and got rid of him. Which, I find that for a couple reasons to be a pretty crappy defense. As far as the online antics and shit stirring goes, like, who doesn't do that? Everyone with social media does that. It's just whether or not it's negative depends on what side of the political fence you seem to sit on. But by that justification, like 90% of Marvel's writers and artists should be fired too, because they've been stirring up the shit online and getting up to antics. And just the mentality of people who even would make that kind of defense taking any company's side, it's just like, well, McDonald's had its way with your mother in the middle of the night in the street in a dark alley and just leaving her savagely beaten and bruised and in need of an illegal back alley abortion, but you're going to defend it because she was up to antics and was asking for it. It's kind of how I feel that logic lines up. So I'm not buying the antics thing at all. And then the fact that this has been a long time coming. No, what's been a long time coming is the amount of stuff he's written for the game, the amount of lore he's contributed. I mean, their last big hot-selling box set for Clan Invasion, the little short story booklet that came with it, was written by him, our good old friend Bill Rodro. So if that's just a weird way to treat somebody if you're just like waiting for them to give you an excuse to fire them. You don't, promote their shit in a big box set. And also just some of the other stories, the more you hear about what all happened in this chain of events, and the fact that Catalyst actually allowed this non-lady to write an article for Shrapnel, despite not even being the person they thought they were. In most instances, most publishers would have no qualms in yanking the material if they find out that the person who they're under contract with was using an assumed identity and all that kind of stuff. Maybe your Stephen Kings can get away with their Richard Bachman shit because it's fucking Stephen King, but nobody on Twitter is just a nobody on Twitter. So I just I don't know. I find it a lame defense to say that it's because of antics. They've had no problem cashing in on this guy this whole time, and I'm sure his antics didn't just suddenly appear in the last 3 months or something like that. From what little I know of the guy, he seems to have been fairly consistent. So, I don't know. I guess try again. As I said, I wish I had more to say on the subject, but I don't really have any expertise in Battletech lore or insight into Battletech rules. And so, at least when it has these little collisions with, social stuff, at least on that end, I feel I have a little something to say on the subject. The Make Battletech Go Away title was directly poking at the idea that the line that the guy from Tops or Fanatic had said to Pardew's bosses was "make it go away," and so that's where I came up with the "make Battletech go away." It's as I said, I've not advocating for boycotting or anything like that because stupid people do that shit and it doesn't work. Remember how maybe you don't because you're all a bunch of little tiny children. But remember how back in like the 80s and 90s, the Southern Baptists were boycotting 7-Eleven to stop them from carrying Playboy and Penthouse and High Society magazine. Certainly not any Hustler. And for a while, 7-Eleven, pulled all that kind of stuff from their shelves and stuff. But, years later, it died down and people stopped taking, old church moms threatening to boycott candy bars seriously anymore. And eventually, the smut returned to the shelves. And so, I guess just read from that as you will. There's just no long-term point in boycotting shit, I guess. Anyway, though, just the personality types. So the people who are even attracted to Battletech in the first place and its particular kind of science fiction setting. What annoys me about what annoys me about a lot of the stuff that goes on in various subgroups of entertainment with this whole social contagion that's been sweeping around for the last decade now, is once again, it's less about like any difference necessarily with like whatever the stated goals of these people are in most instances. But it bothers the consumer advocate, part of my personality. I don't like seeing companies abusing their audience or, favoring people who don't even actually like their product in a vain effort to impress them somehow and at the expense of alienating their actual paying and proper customer base. Obviously, it's not like Catalyst came up with Battletech. They're just the current owner of the IP of something that was created a long time ago. But like a lot of other genre fiction, if you didn't like it and you don't like the people who are into it, then why the fuck did you buy it so you could produce it yourself in the first place? Maybe you could have just come up with your own giant stompy robot game. But no, you wanted that built-in Battletech audience and Battletech brand and Battletech name association. And that means, you got to deal with the Battletech audience that comes with that package. And that audience has been reading shit by old, what was his name again? Baleford Monroe, whatever. In many ways, that fan base has been shaped by his input as much as Michael Stackpole and other people. So it just seems aberrant. It's akin to Star Wars not wanting to even consider George Lucas's sequel trilogy outline, kind of a thing of well, why the fuck are you even making this if you don't approve of the people who made it in the first place or the product? So yeah, I guess that's about it. Stay waspinated.